Good afternoon and welcome to Holly Lodge Girls College. The news today is presented by Isabel, Millie, Molly, Ellie, Mariam and Isabel. It's Thursday 16th of March. First, the headlines. The Conservative Party have been fined £70,000 over election expenses.
A teenager who left to sail around the world dies in a tragic accident.
Donald Trump's new travel ban blocked by Hawaii federal judge hours before it was due to begin.
Our first story is one that has gained a lot of attention here in Liverpool. Recently, proposals have emerged for the closure of the existing site of the Liverpool Women's Hospital. Supporters of the closure believe that while the hospital provides really good care, they need to move in order to give women and babies better access to treatment. Cases where women are taken from the women's to other hospitals because of treatment are becoming more frequent. It is believed that on average there are around 800 patients a year moved from one site to another. The proposals, which include building a new women's health and maternity unit next to the Royal or Ancient hospitals, would improve the quality of care. Many people, however, are opposed to the closure. Isabel investigated further.
We're at Liverpool Women's Hospital and we're about to interview Leslie Mahmood, who's involved in the campaign about the closure of the hospital. And what's the current plans for the future of the hospital?
Okay, there are four options out by the CCG, the people that will make the decision, and they will have a formal consultation from June for 3 months, and then they will make the decision. So the four options include 2 for the Women's Hospital to stay on site, and one of those includes a major refurbishment of £40 million, and we would be totally in favour of that because we need extra facilities for neonatal scans, blood, and if we need a level 3 intensive care. We are opposed to the main option that's favoured by the board, which is moving to the Royal, as we believe that the Royal site will result in a smaller service, cuts in services, and it's surrounded by diesel, it's surrounded by high-rise blocks. It won't have this environment, which is very good for women's recovery. So we are totally opposed, and also we think that spending or trying to find £160 million in a time when we're going to face £1 billion worth of cuts a year from this region in health, that we don't think it's realistic to actually expect to find the money for the same services that are provided on site at the moment.
Is that around when the public will find out about if it's closing or not?
Yes, at the moment there's a document out on the website, and the formal consultation meetings will start in June, but I would urge the public anyway to have a look at our Facebook site, have a look at the Women's Hospital site, and make your own judgment and get involved as well.
Many of our staff and students here were unaware of the proposals, but all had an opinion or experience with the hospital.
I don't want it to close because I was born, give me life and
From what I do know of the Women's Hospital, it's very highly rated by I don't think just local people. I think people from sort of surrounding area as well.
It's like a hospital suited for women, and that there's not really any other place that's just focused on women.
Really lovely place for when women have babies and things like that, and the surroundings of it are really lovely, and it just wouldn't be the same really anywhere else.
Our next story is one very close to us here at Holly Lodge BBC News Report. Spina bifida literally means split spine. It happens when a fault and the development of the spinal cord and surrounding bones leaves a gap or a split in the spine. The spinal cord is not formed properly and may also be damaged. Our reporter Ellie has this very special report.
Hi, my name's Ellie. I was born with spina bifida, and it affects my life in different ways. I've had 4 operations, and I'm having another procedure in May, and endless amounts of hospital appointments, doctor's appointments, physiotherapy, and anything of the above. I was born with the highest form, which according to doctors meant I shouldn't have been able to walk. Because spina bifida is basically split spine, and when I was born my spine was open, so the nerves were exposed. So the flow to the circulation to my legs isn't the best, but it could have been a lot worse. We got involved with Shine, and we done a cake sale, and we raised £140. I got involved because I thought that I could have been one of them people who needed a wheelchair and who needed their support a lot more than I do. So I thought that I should raise money for those who weren't as lucky as I was and who really benefit from what Shine does and how they help people.
We also spoke to Chloe, a Year 12 student here at Holly Lodge, about her experiences, and project worker Angela from Shine, a charity that works with people and families affected by spina bifida and hydrocephalus. Here's what they had to say.
My branch of spina bifida is lipomyelomenincocele, and it's a special type of it's a different type of spina bifida, and it's the rarest kind. And I was born with a lump on my back, and when I was 11 months old they had to cut it off because obviously it was in the way, and it affects all the nerves in my body, so that's why I have difficulty walking. That's why other aspects of me are different to others.
Has your condition ever affected your opportunities?
Due to all the operations I have and all the medical appointments that I have, I miss a lot of school, and due to that it makes me need to catch up on a lot of schoolwork, but it hasn't stopped me from achieving all the GCSEs that I need.
I think one of the hard things is sometimes feeling a bit different, going through school where people are not always kind. If you look different, you walk differently. I think trying to hide aspects of your condition can be very difficult for a child. So it's very different, and families are very different, you know, and they all have different ways of helping their child cope.
Do you think disabilities are talked about enough? If not, why not?
So I think there is talk about disability, but quite a lot of it is negative, and what you don't get are really good, positive messages about disability, and you know how, okay, you may not be able to walk, but actually you can do all the good things in life other than walk.
Yeah. What can be done to make people more aware of disabilities?
It's at the very beginning, when they're planning any services, any buildings, any changes in the environment. I think in a way, we only think about disability when it affects us, don't we? You know, you don't think about it with other people. And one thing I noticed when Liverpool 1 opened was how many more people you saw in wheelchairs around town, because you know they were able to get there, and there's a really good sort of changing places loo in the middle of the shopping area, and all those things make it easy. But if you don't make it easy for people, they're invisible. So I think, you know, we've got a lot to do in how we build our society, really.
I read this quote and it said, I don't suffer from spina bifida suffers from me, and I like that quote, as you can tell.
There's still many families who aren't aware of the support provided by Shine. Due to the lack of funding, support groups are limited. In the future, we hope to raise more money and awareness to help charities like Shine.
This week is British Science Week. Our next report, inspired by this, focuses on women's involvement in STEM careers. According to a report by the organisation WISE, in 2016 only 21% of the workforce in STEM careers in the UK were women. In engineering in particular, that number was as low as 8%, yet many organisations have a shortfall of STEM skills.
We spoke to some inspirational women about their experiences of working in STEM industries and how we can encourage more women to get involved.
I'm a process engineer. I'm working on a project at the minute, and the new project is going to put some new equipment onto site, is going to modify some existing equipment, and we're basically going to double the capacity of one of the products that we make.
So when I was doing my PhD, my job was to come up with research ideas and then to plan experiments to do those. So what I was looking at was, why do certain medicines cause side effects? So I was testing certain medicines on cells and finding out what was happening to those medicines chemically and what happened to the cells.
Hiya, I'm Jodie and I'm a student here at Elanco on a year-round placement. I'm actually a chemical engineering student studying at the University of Manchester. So what I do day to day is help support one of our plants.
I have been treated differently in the past. Occasionally there's a couple of issues maybe about pay, and I was spoken to like I was a tea lady once because they didn't know that I was a member of staff because it was all the males and me. But no, I think generally we get treated the same, as you should.
So sometimes it is quite difficult because you're working with a lot of men, and I guess you feel under pressure to be taken seriously, but especially where we work at Elanco, you do get a lot of support and a lot of people do take you seriously and have a lot of respect and care for what you are going to bring to the role and to the team, so it is good.
It was very male dominated actually, so in my department none of the professors were women, they were all men. However, there's quite a lot of female PhD students, so it's interesting to think what happens to those female PhD students. Why don't they become professors in the laboratory?
So I don't think there's a very good understanding of what engineering is. I don't think there's a very good understanding of what scientists actually do. I think they just see pictures of men doing work on cars, because that's what people thought that I was doing when I said I was going to do engineering. They said to me, oh, why are you wanting to be a mechanic? And it's not that at all. So I think it's that understanding that's putting women off.
I think it needs to start right from a young age. I think primary school, 5 years old, there's the perception that boys do maths and science and girls do the arty things. So I think we need to really start from that age to kind of convince women that actually we can do science, we can do maths, we can do whatever we want to do.
So Science Girl is an organisation put together to promote and support women within STEM. We work with girls in school, we work with female students at university, all the way up, women in all points of their career, to try and support and promote women in STEM basically. We want to give opportunities, we want to celebrate how fantastic we are and how fantastic the roles that we all have are. So it's about getting together. We have regular events, we go to festivals, things like the Northwest Big Bang Fair. We're dotted around all over the country, so that we've got a little group in every area, so that if girls need support, if they want to get involved in outreach, public engagement, science communication, as well as support within their roles, they want to speak to role models, ambassadors, we all get together and we can make that happen.
For any girl that wants to go into it, I'd say don't be put off by the fact that it is male dominated, and I think it's massively changing. We've got a lot of female engineers on site, and there's a lot of other companies I've worked for have got a lot of other female engineers, so yeah, don't let it put you off.
These women really highlight what is possible for women to achieve in STEM careers. Also displays that STEM careers are applicable for anyone, no matter your gender.